What's up, family? Your boy Swing Trader Tone here. Day 374. Day 374 of trading. Let's see what we're working with. Tell you, let's go straight to the account, man. We'll come back to the charts in a second. Today we're down $69.65. Um, Bringing the total assets to $17,033.39. Now it probably would be around 17.3. I took out some bread over the weekend to do a few things. So, we're down to 17,000 basically in the account. My options account went let me get rid of this floating bar out of my way. Hide floating bar. All right. Options account made 316 bucks today, and my shares account went down $385.45. I love that. I love that kind of symmetry, right? So you don't really lose too much on the net. If my options account goes up, the shares goes down, no big deal. Overall, we're still good. But at some point, it's all going to click, and I'll just take my profits like when they hit. So let's take a look at the options account. Like when my options targets hit, they hit, I'll take the profits. And then if the shares ain't hit yet, when the shares account hits, I'll take those profits. So targets are targets, man. I'm just waiting on those targets. This is, why I'm a swing trader, target trader. I don't care about the necessarily up and downs of the day to day. Just wait for my target to hit, man. Know where it's going. Have techniques to tell me where it's going. So when it gets there, I'll take my profit. Until then, I'm chilling. You know what I mean? If it's 3 months, if it's 3 weeks, 3 months, 8 months, whenever the target hits, it hits, man. Can't be greedy, can't rush the market, but it'll get there when it's supposed to get there. AAP right now is at a 39% profit. I mean, I'm looking for like 600%, 800%. So obviously I'm not touching it. Sometimes people would get down so much that they start, nah, I'm just going to take this 40% profit. You could do that when you don't know where the market is going. 40% profit is a good ass profit. You know what I mean? You should ask any financial advisor. Can you get 40% on your money in in a few months? You'd be like, what? They'd be like, no, in about 20 years, maybe you get 40% profit. So, you know, if I had 100,000 in here, I would have made 39,000 in a couple months. So don't sneeze at the percentages. But like I said, I'm a target trader. I'm waiting on my targets to hit. When the target hits, I'll take my profit wherever it is. If that's 600%, 400%, 1,200%. When the target hits, I'll take the profit. Beyond went up 270 bucks today. Pfizer went down $7.50. My $80 strike price on trade desk went down 47.50. And my TTD 100 strike price went down 22 bucks. Let's take a look at the shares account. Shares account UNHG went down 30 bucks, but I love where it's at right now. It's at a nice solid support. So it should start bouncing this week. TSLL is down 141.45, and MetU is down 214. I think both Tesla and Meta is probably going to drop this week. It is what it is. Once again, maybe somebody would take this 14% profit and be like, yo, I'll take this 14%, which I'd actually thought of, take the 14% profit, put it into UNH since it's going to go up. But I kind of like having it spread between three different instruments, three different companies, because when one goes down, the other one could go up, kind of just float up and down and, whatever. They all got targets to hit. They're all going to hit their targets. It's just a matter who's going to do it first. And, I ain't, to be honest, I'm in no hurry, man. It'll hit when it hits. But it was very, very tempting to take the profit, which is 900 bucks on my money and put it all into UNHG. And then when UNHG pops up, take that profit, maybe even put it back into MetU, but MetU is already up $4. So, I would never be able to get it again at $31.34. So that plays a part too. All right. Let's take a look at the charts. So when I say we're at a nice little support, this is where UNH is right now. This is the daily chart. Chances are it's going to bounce off of this and then go ahead and pop up. Even though we are bearish, on the daily, you know, support down here. I actually told you the wrong support up here. Support down here. And there's a nice little EMA as well down here. It has to come back up to this 10 EMA at some point, even though we are currently bearish, has to bounce back up, man. So we're looking at maybe coming back up to 309. Love that. Love that. Talking about a 30 point pop up. That's probably about $3 on UNHG. We'll take it. We'll take it. If we look at UNHG, that'll bring it up to about 14 bucks, almost, pretty close to break even, as we got it in the average down to $15.64 last week. So be doing all right. Be all right. And then when it pops, it pops. Um, Meta, why do I think set to come down? I mean, we are bullish, but I think it may come down and pop and hit this support, then bounce and keep going up. So that's why I'm not really tripping. It's kind of expecting it to come down, and then from there, start attacking some of these upper targets, and ultimately, I took it away, but I'll ultimately up here. Tesla, kind of like the same thing. Um, Now Tesla is bearish on the daily chart, but come down, hit the support, then start bouncing up. All right. Even if it comes down past this, it'll probably hit this EMA. Got a 200 EMA right here. Strong, strong support. Tesla, Tesla probably maybe not this week, but next week, really, really start moving. So man, that's it, man. I'm looking for all of them to start, trending up in the next couple of weeks. But looks like UNH is probably going to take the lead and pop up from this support right here. Go ahead and pop on up. All right. That's what we're looking at as far as those are concerned. Um, Take a look at the options real quick. AAP seems like it wants to be the mover. I think Pfizer is probably going to move as well. Take a look at AAP where we stand. I don't have all my supports on here, but this will probably come down. It had a nice little resistance right here. There's 200 EMA on the daily chart and come down, but it's kind of getting supported by my EMAs. So we are bullish. All right. TDD chart is saying that we're bearish, but we just hit a nice little support right here. So good chance it pops up to $33.27, which should boost that account, baby. And Pfizer's hitting a resistance point. Got a nice little speed line going. Maybe it comes down to the speed line next couple of days, around 20, only a few points, maybe like 20 cents or so. And then, they'll probably mess around and bounce, 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 bounce until it figures out if it wants to break out to the downside or break out to the upside. This is another resistance here. So kind of been trying to bang at it, maybe it'll pop up and then come down. If it pops up and hits this a few times, I'd love that because then that means it's probably going to go to the upside. The next target will be 27 bucks, then 28 bucks. Be nice. And then we have some targets. Well, you know what my targets are because I have a $35 strike price. So I'm expecting it to at least hit 35 and then go up from there. Plenty of time. Once again, these are leaps. So don't expire until next year. Plenty of time to make those moves. Give me my money. And that's it. So once again, today kind of balanced out between my options and the shares, giving me a negative $69.45. Total assets, $17,033.39. And that's it, man. If you have any questions, comments, leave them. I'll hit you back. We'll go over some things if you want. If not, man, just watch the show, man. Just watch the show. Once again, the goal is to go from 20,000 to 200,000 by the end of the year. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. Maybe after that, then you have a few comments and you feel like, yo, he knows what he's doing. Let me ask him some things. We'll see. Anyway, talk to you tomorrow. All right. One love.